Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com, and here are some tips for MacBook Neo users. Now, whether the MacBook Neo is your first Mac or just your most recent, here are some tips specific to using the Neo. So one of the things people notice the first with the MacBook Neo is the desktop wallpaper. The default wallpaper is something created specifically for this model of MacBook. So if you have a MacBook Neo and you go into System Settings, and then you look for Wallpaper here on the left, you'll see your wallpaper up here at the top left, and you'll see its name. It's called Mac Blue. Now, this wallpaper isn't available on other Macs, but if you scroll down, you'll find it here in the special section called Mac. Not only will you find the one you're using, but you'll find all 4 variations, one for each color of the MacBook Neo. And the one you will have by default matches that color. But you can choose any one of these. So you can simply click to select one like that, and it will download and allow you to have any of the 4 as your wallpaper. Or if you don't like the wallpaper, you can, of course, choose any of the other ones that are available here. There are a ton of different ones, including live wallpapers, the default Mac Tahoe wallpaper, or you can use a solid color or your own photos from your Photos app. So really you can use anything. But the wallpaper isn't the only thing that is different in System Settings for a Neo. If you go to Appearance and you look at the color choices, you get an additional one with a MacBook Neo. It's the one that matches the color of the aluminum of your case. So you've got here under color, the default is usually multicolor, and then you have a variety of other colors to choose from. But with a MacBook Neo, you'll also get your Mac's color here as the last choice and the default. Now, I recommend you switch to multicolor. That allows each app to have its default color. For instance, you'll see yellow in Notes, green in Numbers, and so on. If you choose one of these, it's going to be that highlight color for all of your apps. But you certainly can choose your Mac Neo's color if you like that. Then also note under Text Highlight Color, you also have that as a choice. And you also get it here under Folder Color. You'll see in the list, it's called Hardware here instead of this Mac, but you get that same color choice. Now let's talk about the USB ports that come on your MacBook Neo. You've got 2 on the left side, and they're fundamentally different. You should know which one to use in what situation. The one furthest to the back is USB 3, but it also does something else. It can act as a DisplayPort port to hook in to an external screen. The one that's a little closer to the front, that's USB 2. That one has a much slower speed than the other one. So if you need to hook in a screen, you have to do it with the one in the back. But if instead of a screen, you want to hook up a fast external drive, for instance, you want to use the one in the back to get much faster speeds. As a matter of fact, if you plug in a fast drive in the front port, you will get a warning just letting you know that you'll get better performance if you use the back one. Now, either one of these could be used for power. You can plug in the charger that comes with your MacBook Neo or another one into either port. It doesn't matter. So you're going to want to use the frontmost port, the slower one, for power since it doesn't matter, and save the back one for plugging in things like external drives or displays. And if you need to plug in some sort of USB hub, you definitely want to use the back port. So you start off with the fastest speeds coming through that port, and then whatever it is you've got connected. And then hopefully your hub is also fast, and then everything can work through that one port in a much faster way than using the front one. Also note that you don't need to use the charger that comes with your MacBook Neo. This is a 20-watt charger, and it will work fine. It really works with any USB charger, but if you want slightly faster speeds, get one that's more than 20 watts. The MacBook Neo doesn't do fast charging, and hooking something exceedingly powerful up to it isn't going to make it charge really fast or anything, but you can beat the speed of this one if you use a third-party charger. Now let's go back here into Settings and take a look at the display settings. So under Displays, you can see the default resolution. And if you move your pointer over it, you can see the display is at 1408 by 881. The actual native resolution is something completely different, and you don't really want to use that. To see that, what you want to do here is Control-click on anywhere in this section here and show list and then turn on show all resolutions. You can see the actual native resolution here, and it's insanely small. All the user interface elements are too small really for almost anybody to use on this display. So you can use this native resolution here, or you can choose other resolutions as well. I'm using a third-party app to set up some special resolutions that you won't see, just so I can do a nice recording for this tutorial. But you'll see a lot of different options here. Don't let anybody tell you that any one of these is right or wrong. You should experiment with all of them and find out what is right for you. After all, if you're using a resolution and you just can't see the text very well, then it's really no good to you, even if it's like 1% faster for the MacBook. So you want to choose the one that you like, and don't be afraid to change it. You can change it as often as you want. Now, in addition to that, if you still have trouble seeing things on the MacBook Neo's small screen, you may want to check out accessibility and display. And there are a bunch of different things here that you could use, like text size, for instance, to make text larger in some apps. So you can play around with those settings. And if you have trouble seeing the pointer, the little arrow you control with the trackpad, note that under pointer here, you can change the pointer size as well. Make it a little bigger if it makes it easier for you to see. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 3,000 others that support MacMost through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. And also, if this is your first MacBook, get used to using Mission Control to make it feel like you've got more than one screen. So I can bring up Mission Control by using the Control key and up arrow, or 3 fingers on the trackpad swiping up. And you'll see here at the top your desktop. You can add a second desktop like this. Now you can launch apps and have these two available on this desktop. And then I'm going to switch to the other desktop by using Mission Control, going here. And then now I can launch something else on this desktop, like say Safari, and bring that up here. I can use Control left and Control right arrows, or 3 fingers and swiping left or right on the trackpad. And this makes it feel like I've actually got 2 displays. I want to look at the one on the right, I can swipe there. Look at the one on the left, I use 3 fingers and swipe there. Or I like to use the Control left and right arrows. And you can add more desktops if you like as well. If you feel constrained by the small screen of the MacBook Neo, get to know Mission Control and using multiple desktop spaces. Now, another thing about the MacBook Neo is it has a smaller battery than other MacBooks. So there are things that you can do to extend battery life. If you go into System Settings and then you go to Battery, note that you have low power mode available. Now, you could set this up to be only on battery. So when you're plugged in, everything will run at full speed. But on battery, it's going to enter low power mode and do a few things to help prolong the battery life. But you also have a lot of other things that you could do here to preserve battery life. For instance, under battery health, you can turn on optimize battery charging. That means it won't charge to fill the entire battery up all the time, but stop short of that. And this will make the battery last longer. Not longer as in today, but longer as in how many years before you need a replacement. You can also go down to the options here, and you can turn on a few things like dim the display slightly or optimize video streaming to help you go further in the day with your battery. In general, if you've got power available where you are and you've got your charger with you, plug it in and use it while it's plugged in. That way, not only will you have maximum battery charge when you need it, but it won't cycle the battery so much. The battery only lasts so many cycles. If you just simply use it until it runs out of battery and then plug it in to charge it, that goes through a whole cycle. After about 1,000 cycles, you're going to need a new battery. But if you happen to have power at your desk, plug it in and then you're not using the battery will last that much longer. Now let's talk about the webcam. I'm going to run FaceTime here, and the webcam works perfectly well for video conferencing and a lot of other uses, but it's a 1080p webcam. It's not quite as good as the webcam for other MacBooks. But there are a few things you can do to make it look a bit better. When using FaceTime and Zoom, you probably don't need this. But if you're creating content, say by using QuickTime Player, you can do File, New Movie Recording, and it will use the camera. You can make the quality a bit better. If I record here and then stop, I can check here and see that it's 1280 by 720, but I can do better than that. Let's go and do a new movie recording again in QuickTime Player, but I'm going to click on this little options arrow to the right of the record button, and I'm going to switch to maximum quality. Then I'm going to record. And when I do that, the result here will be a 1920 by 1080 video. So keep that in mind if you're using the webcam to make content. If you're using another app to record, look for similar options there. Also, whatever app you're using, look for the webcam options up here. So for instance, I can click there and I've got things like portrait mode, I've got studio lighting, and I have the ability to remove the background. So a few options that will make recording better, including mic mode. And you can turn on voice isolation, which may be better, especially for video conferencing. But you've got another option, your iPhone. Plug in your iPhone into your MacBook Neo. You could do this wirelessly as well, but for best results, plug it in. And then let's go, for instance, to QuickTime Player here and do a new movie recording. And instead of choosing the MacBook Neo's camera, I can choose the iPhone camera. And now it'll switch to that. And the iPhone's camera is much higher quality than the Neo's. So use this if you're doing content creation and you've got your iPhone with you. And also just consider maybe using your iPhone to capture the video. And that way you can get full 4K video using your iPhone's cameras. Now let's finish up by talking about the trackpad and keyboard. The trackpad's a mechanical keyboard, but it feels very similar to the regular Magic keyboard with haptic feedback. But a lot of people don't realize that even though it's a mechanical keyboard, you can still go into System Settings, and then you could go down to Trackpad. And there's an option for tap to click. When you turn that option on, you don't actually even need to press down on the trackpad. You just tap it and it counts as a click. A lot of Mac users have their MacBooks or desktop Macs set up this way anyway. And when you do this, it doesn't matter any longer that it's a mechanical trackpad because you're just tapping anyway. Now, as far as the keyboard's concerned, hopefully you've got the nicer MacBook Neo that has Touch ID. If this is your first Mac with Touch ID, you may want to note that you're not restricted to having simply one finger that is being used for Touch ID. You can add additional fingerprints. So you may want to have your index finger, you may want to have your thumb, maybe your other index finger. You can add a whole bunch. In addition, you could add the same finger multiple times. So if you find you've added your index finger, but sometimes it doesn't work, add your index finger again. Having it there twice will make it more likely to work 100% of the time. And while we're talking about security, go to lock screen. And the setting I want you to look at here is require password after screensaver begins or display is turned off. Now you may be tempted to have that set to say 5 minutes or 15 minutes or longer. But the thing about MacBooks is you often have them with you in public. They're easy targets for being stolen. So you want to make sure that if somebody gets your MacBook, they don't have an amount of time where they can actually access your stuff. Having it set to immediately means that as soon as you close your MacBook or have the display go to sleep or the screensaver goes on, you're going to need to use Touch ID again to authenticate. Somebody stealing your MacBook is going to be very unlikely to be able to ever access anything on it. I usually have mine set to 5 seconds. There's really not much difference between immediately and 5 seconds, but if you're working with your MacBook and your display goes to sleep or screensaver goes on, the 5 seconds gives you a short amount of time where you can press the spacebar or move the trackpad so that you don't have to authenticate again. I hope you found these tips useful. Thanks for watching. Want to know about every new MacMost video each week? Sign up for the absolutely free MacMost email newsletter at macmost.com/newsletter.